Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Pop-Off Show. It is April 5th. I'm your host, Gene FitzMagic, and we have a ton of cool sports and entertainment news to go through, guys. And you know what? We're going to be bringing in two of our original co-hosts that you met already, but we do have a new one that you haven't met yet that will be part of the program going forward. So let's bring him out first and give him the first introduction. You might have seen him on CBS's Ghosts or Bit Players, or you might even know him from his roots over at Second City in Toronto. I know him because he's got the best hat collection I've ever seen. Let's bring him on in, Nigel Downer. Nigel, my man.
Yes, my dude. What's happening?
How you been? You got the exclusive hats, man.
Yo, listen.
That's why you're here.
You're not wrong, because what I'm thinking is that every time I'm on the show, I'm going to wear a new cap. I'll feature that on my IG feed that is exclusive. It's exclusive for my hats. And today I'm rocking the Uprising, which is the Toronto Raptors representatives on the NBA 2K.
You had me until you said Toronto Raptors.
Oh, hey, it's not the last time I'm going to say it today, buddy.
I know you're a Raptor guy. I get it. But you know what? Welcome to the show. Glad to have you as part of the team. I know you'll typically always be on Thursdays. You're helping fill in a little bit so people get to know you a little bit today. And so, guys, and I already mentioned we have two other people that are also hosts on the show that are here today that you have already met. One you met yesterday, one you met on Monday. So let's bring out the boss first. Let's bring out Caleeb Pinkett.
Yeah,
he's back, my man.
How we doing, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation?
There we go.
How we doing this evening?
It's going to be we have some good debate today too. We're going to be some NBA debate. Who loves debating MVPs, right? I mean, everyone's got a different answer usually. We'll see. But let's bring out our other host. You guys know you met her yesterday, Katrina Johnson. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It's midnight. It's good afternoon to me. It's noon over here on the East Coast.
Well, it's early over here, so
good
morning.
me and Nigel got the afternoon. You guys got the morning. You guys have more time left in the day than we do, so I'm jealous for that at least. But how you doing? How was yesterday? You feel good now? You got one under your belt?
Fast.
There we go.
I got some sports education in. I'm learning.
That's what you, right? At least you learned something too, right? That's what we can ask for.
Definitely.
So, guys, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different headlines. MVP in the NBA. We're going to talk a little bit about last night's Celtics 76er game. Where is Lamar Jackson going to end up? I mean, that's still the saga, right? Everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers, but where's Lamar Jackson going? We're going to talk a little Aaron. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Judge. But predictions for what he's going to be doing this year. He's already off to a nice fast start. Also, too, we're going to talk a little Blue Beetle, and we're going to talk a little Harry Potter maybe coming to HBO Max? Question mark. But you know what? First, before we get into all that, let's start with the recap of the 76ers and Celtics game last night. We got that graphic. There we go. Mm-hmm. Guys, it was one of my favorite games, I think, of the year. It was a game that came right down to the wire. We all expected it. Now, again, Jaylen Brown was out. That hurts the game a little bit, not having Jaylen Brown there. If Jaylen Brown's there, maybe the outcome's a little different. But Caleeb, what did you think of the game last night? I know you saw it.
Well, I loved it. I thought it was great. You know what I mean? Anytime you watch somebody go for 50 points, it's always it's a great outing. You know what I mean? But I agree with you with the Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown not being there, it's not a true test. You know what I mean? Like, you need Jaylen Brown there also with Tatum and Smart and all of that. And I think in the playoffs, when Brown is there, it's going to be a little bit different. Actually, I think it'll be a lot different. You know what I mean? But Last night was last night. It was Embiid's night. He balled out completely. I wish he had more help from James Harden, but James Harden is, not the same Harden. Maybe he needs to get rid of the beard. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's holding him down. It's a little too heavy. You know what I mean? But I think back to what Embiid did last night. It was a phenomenal performance.
Caleeb, you sound like my wife trying to get rid of my beard. His is
my
bearded brother.
Cool. Like, his is excessive. Like, his is like
you got lost out in the woods.
Yeah, like you just don't care about life anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like, dude, what's going on? You know what I mean?
It's gotten a little funky. It's definitely gotten a little funky.
He can find his car keys. He be like, oh, damn, that's where I had my keys.
Well, let me tell you something. One of the best parts about our beards is that's where we keep our leftover food. Like, how many crumbs I find in this thing.
I heard.
That's disgusting.
I'll never go hungry.
It's a hard pass. That's disgusting.
Nigel, you grow a beard and you'll tell me when you. Oh,
Never.
Hey, that lunch was good. Here's a crumb.
Listen, I grow a beard, but I get rid of it.
Smart woman.
Smart woman. So, as you said, Caleb, 52 for Embiid, man. Not only did he score 52 points, I know me and Nigel were talking earlier. And there's a score right there, 103-101. It was a game right down to the end, man. Not only did he score 52 points, 20 of 25 from the field, which is you don't really see centers do that. Well, I guess when they're dunking all the time, maybe you do, but also 12 from 13 from free throw line, very un-Shaq-like as we grew up watching Shaq. Give me your take on the performance, though, Nigel, as far as Embiid. Does it get any better than that for a center?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you brought a lot of that stuff up, Gene, because watching him score those 52 was absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you why, because he like manipulated his body. He made some fantastic travels. He made some fantastic like circus shots. Like, it was unbelievable. As soon as the ball left his hand, it was in every time. And to watch him hit that kind of mark and just constantly like flush, it was very impressive. And the bananas part about the whole thing, which you mentioned, Gene, is that the game was close right up until the end, which is also weird to think of. There wasn't a stretch where one team really handled the other team. Literally, both teams were in 5 points of each other the whole game, and still he scored 52 and had a great line. So, I mean, if this is a preview of what's to come in the playoffs, I'm excited, because this is the best ball that we want to see as fans. I want to see as a fan. Yeah. So, even though I'm not a big Sixers guy, it's that was an impressive feat. And the Celtics, I mean, they've been the talk of the town since the All-Star break, and I think people knew they were coming. And now they're just proving that they're here. They want a ball, and they want that ring, man. They got a taste last year, but they want it.
Well, let me ask you a question. You bring up the Celtics kind of coming back. Tatum, 19 points, didn't really have a huge game. I wasn't your typical Tatum game. I mean, Tatum averages, I think, like 30 points a game. Came in well under at 19. Now, does Jaylen Brown? If Jaylen Brown plays, this game's probably different, right? I mean, you're talking about 2 points. Jaylen Brown probably wins it. They're decent without him. They're 9-4 when he doesn't play. So, but they could have probably pulled it out with him. Does that make it easier for Tatum to score more? Like, does Tatum have more of an effective game with Jaylen Brown on the court?
1,000%. I mean, I think that's kind of rhetorical. I think that he's going to help spread their defense and help make their offense just like key in on other players. They got players that can score. We know this. They got players that can play defense. So you add Jaylen Brown back in the mix. It's I don't think it's a wrap, though. I really still think it's going to be a close game, because everybody right now is fighting for that. They're fighting for the playoffs. They're fighting to make it in. They're even the best fights right now are the play-in fights. These teams that are like, what?
West.
We're not going to tank. We're going to fight to get into that playoff. I love those play-ins. I love those play-ins, man, because it's almost like watching college ball again, where there's just like everything to fight for, because you just want to make it to that next level. After the first round, I'm sure they're gonna get kicked. But I mean, it's always so exciting to watch. And I think that watching the Celtics in the 76ers, I mean, that was super fun. So yeah.
No, it wasn't. To piggyback off what you said about Tatum, I mean, I got to speak up for my light-skinned brother. It's like, listen, Tatum, come on, man. Like, I love Tatum. I think he's a baller, but it's not about his skill. It's something in his mind that happens. There's no way that Embiid scores 52 and you only have 19, but you're supposed to be top 10 in the league at minimum. What? Like, no. You got to at least go for 30 at minimum, right? Like Tatum has an issue with taking games over. That's why they lost last season. They should have beat the Warriors. There's no reason why the Warriors should have won that series the way that they did. But like Tatum didn't show up. And I saw it again yesterday. I'm like, come on, man. Like, listen, you got to step up in those moments. That's where you make your bones, as my Italian brothers would call it. But that's how you did it. That's how you make your name in this game, is that you got to ball out when it's called upon, not just ball out on a night and it's like, oh, you had no, man. When you see somebody else going, you gotta match it. You know what I mean? So that's my only issue that I see with Boston. Tatum is that guy, and Brown can take it over, but Tatum is the one. And when he lets his mind get in the way and he don't show up when he should, I think that's going to be Boston's Achilles heel. I mean, they go as Tatum goes, in my opinion, like, to be honest.
And Tatum can't ball out just at home. He can't ball out just at home, because if you watch the highlights from the game, Philly was losing their minds. Like, the fans, the crowds, everybody was into it, and that was a playoff atmosphere. And Tatum could not adjust, as you say, Caleb. He couldn't adjust. He couldn't rise up above that, right? Hence the 19.
You know what? This is a hot take, maybe. I don't think, because it's kind of a little bit what you said, Caleb, but also maybe a little bit further is I find Tatum to be a flawed superstar, or I would even say a fraud superstar. I don't think and I know that's blasphemy. We all love Jason Tatum, but when the game is the biggest,
blasphemy.
But when it's the biggest,
blasphemy.
But he doesn't show up in the
name
games
of the Holy Ghost.
But
you kidding me?
But look at when he was in the finals. Listen, over 180. I'm not 180. Over 82 games. He's excellent. But here we are, a big game last night. It's playoff playoff implications, and let's go back to last year in the finals. He did not show up for that finals. I feel and here's who I do like. Here's why, and here's the difference. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got more talent than Jaylen Brown. There's the difference, though. Jaylen Brown has more heart, I think. Jaylen Brown has that dog in him, and I think Jaylen Brown. I think push comes to shove, Jaylen Brown needs to be the leader of that team. Maybe he is in the locker room. I'm not really sure. I'm not there, but I find Jason Tatum to be a little bit overrated when it comes to the big games. Listen, he's averaging 30. Okay. I get it. He's averaging 30.
I agree with that, right? Like, that he doesn't step up at those times. I'm not comparing him to the other guy I'm about to mention, LeBron James. I think LeBron is right, but LeBron had the same issue for a decade in his career, where people were like, I remember Skip Bayless used to call him LeBrick James. You know what I mean? Like, so you can develop it. Now, some people are just born with it. Russell Westbrook has the most heart. He's the biggest dog. His accuracy ain't the best in the Navy. You know what I mean? So you ever see a long call Kane Pauly with my boy Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace, and he was out there balling, make it rain, bang, bang. That's it. That's what it was like. That's what it's like. Russell play, right? But again, back to Tatum. I agree wholeheartedly. I think he's got it. It's a mental thing. Like, I think he gets scared, or he lets somebody else's dog punk his. And the second he gets rid of that, that's when he'll elevate to top 3 in the league, no matter what. He has all the talent, but you're right, it's missing the heart. But I just didn't like the disrespect. You know what I mean? I got to stick up for my light-skinned brother. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I feel you.
Tell me, Katrina, tell them that they wrong.
You're wrong. So wrong.
Am I wrong? I'm not wrong?
That's so right. Wrong.
Katrina, let me ask you a question. Jason Tatum.
Yes.
Jaylen Brown. If you could pick one or the other on your team, who you taking?
Jaylen Brown.
See? Jaylen Brown. I would take Jaylen Brown on my team any day of the week. He might not be my first pick, but I'd pick him over Tatum because I think there's a passion in him. I feel like he feels to me like he's somebody that's always been an underdog, even though he may not have been. He feels there's an underdog to him. Maybe it's because he's not the guy. Everyone looks at Tatum. Maybe that's why. But there's something about him, and even Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's another one. He's got that dog in him too. Hey. And they pick up Tatum a lot. Tatum can get those buckets because those guys do some of the dirty work too. So. So shout out to them. I think that Jaylen Brown to me is I would take him on the Knicks in a heartbeat. And I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm watching last night's game saying I hate both of these teams.
Right.
But and to bring it back to Philly real quick, another unsung hero I don't think gets enough credit for the game last night because it gets overshadowed by the 52 by Embiid is PJ Tucker had some big shots down the stretch.
Yes, he did.
He's the one who got they were down by I think 1 or 2 points in the fourth. He ended up taking it back to take the lead, and then pretty much at that point they didn't look back. So
that was arrogance on Boston's side. They waved him off. They gave him they gave him the Caitlin. They was like, man, please, and let him shoot wide open. And he's a professional ball player. He's supposed to make those, and that's what he did.
He's been in this league too long and done too much as a role player to just let him just not think he's got it anymore.
Right.
But you know that game, I mean, I get it. Embiid puts up the 52. But without PJ Tucker hitting those clutch shots at the end, man, it's a totally different ball game. So
right.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the standings, and we're going to get into the MVP race. But let's hit a little quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back because I did skip the commercial before. And our producer Patty Puddles already yelled at me in the private chat. So we're going to hit the commercial break, and we're going to come back and we'll talk about where we're at in the standings for the final playoff spots, and we'll talk some MVP ballots.
There we go.
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive. Brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
Guys, you're looking to book a Disney vacation or a Universal vacation or a cruise? Check out Neil's shoe cart at Your Fairy Tale Vacations. Guys, if you want a Disney World, Disneyland, Orlando, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, any of these cruise lines, Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Norwegian Cruise Line, or Princess Cruise Line, make sure you hit up our buddy Neil over at Your Fairy Tale Vacations. You can reach him on his email, neil@yourfairytalevacation.com, and that's Neil with Neil, or you can catch him on his Instagram at Disney Universal Travel Planner, or you can even call him on his cell phone. He's got a cell phone number for you, 713-817-5934. All his stuff is 100% free quotes. He travel plans for free. You don't pay him. Disney pays him, or whoever you're booking your trip with pays him. You pay $0 to him. He gets paid by the company itself. And guys, he's gonna get you the lowest rate you'll be able to find on any of these trips. So make sure you reach out to him. He does a great job. I've used him myself, and I vouch for him. Quality company over there. All right, now let's get into some of these standings. Patty, pull up. You know what? Let's go up the East real quick, because the East is not that much movement. We can get to the East real quick, and then we'll go into the West. Here we go, right? Like you got Philly inching a little closer to Boston, but with 3 games left, that's probably not going to happen right there. I think we're set, really, right? The only thing I could see maybe flipping is Miami sneaks into the 6th seed, or Atlanta and Toronto flip flop. I mean, what do you think, Caleb?
Well, for me, I think Miami has the best shot of making something happen. You know what I mean? Like they got a squad that can sneak in to that 6th seed. I know Nigel's gonna be mad. I don't see anything changing for the Raptors. You know what I mean? But hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I don't know. I don't see that. I think the only movement that could really happen, I think, is Miami. With 3 games left, my boy Jimmy Buckets and them. I think he could do something if they want to. But we shall see.
It's been a quiet season for Miami. I feel like I kind of expect them to be higher ranked. And Patty could put it up one more time. I expected them to finish in the top 6. Man, I didn't think. Well, I listened. I wanted my Knicks to get Donovan Mitchell. I thought he was going to be a Knick. It seemed like it was like a certain deal. I'm surprised, even with Mitchell, though, that they're at 4. I didn't think they would be at 4. I thought they'd be a playoff team, but I thought it'd be more like the play-in, playoff team. And I thought Miami would be in that 4-5 area right there. Because it's really, let's face it, it's Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, and then everybody else. Is it not, Nigel?
Yes, absolutely, without question.
It's like where do you got your Raptors going?
Yeah, listen, I think Caleb, I think you're right. I'm not mad at you, man. I'm not mad at you. I don't think there's going to be that much movement. I mean, the next 2 games back to back is Boston. Like that's who we have next, man.
Exactly.
Like we just destroyed Charlotte. That was a given. And the other night, the first I think it was like 3 nights ago, we played Charlotte. We played the Hornets, and their starting roster, the 5 guys that started, their average age was 21. How are you going to win in the NBA with that? You know what I mean? Listen, I'm not saying that they're not talented. I'm just saying with such a young squad against the versatility and the quick hands of our defense, the Toronto squad's defense, and just the vets, you're not going to win with that. But now we got to go to Boston, and we got to deal with them for 2 nights back to back. I mean, listen, I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be a tough call. So right there in the numbers and the paint. Caleb, you're right, man. I don't think things are going to shift. What I'm most shocked at, I'm going to say it one more time just so you guys are hearing me. What I'm most shocked at is Cleveland and New York at 4-5.
Yo.
What are we?
Wait, you didn't think the Knicks could make the playoffs this year?
No. I didn't say that. I just said I'm shocked that they were so high at 4-5.
Yeah.
Because the way that they've been playing the last couple of years, I just didn't think that they'd move up so quickly in the East. And I think they're sneaky too. Miami's been the most sneaky. They're the sneakiest. Miami's the most sneakiest.
They scare me in the playoffs.
But like,
and Miami has the best. And Miami has the best defense out of everybody in the entire league. And it's not defense what you guys may be thinking I'm talking about. See, they have the city of Miami.
I knew you were going with that.
You guys remember when Russell Westbrook and KD and them was on the Thunder and they played Miami? Yeah. And Russell Westbrook, who at the time could jump out the building, got a fast break and got hung on a dunk. He didn't have no legs. How do you think that happened? I ain't gonna say nothing, but those that don't know, that city, best defense in the world. They don't have to worry. They say, go on. Live is open. Enjoy.
I would say that the 3 cities that's dangerous to be a road team in is, I would say, Miami, Vegas, and maybe Atlanta. Those are the 3 teams.
I feel sorry for any team that got to play the Raiders. I know we don't switch the football, but listen. What? Yeah. Wait till the Super Bowl. When the man, oh my gosh. That's a tragedy.
Katrina will tell you. Katrina's from Vegas. She'll tell you firsthand. Vegas is for a reason.
Dangerous. It's dangerous. Mm-hmm.
What's more dangerous, Miami or Vegas?
I think Miami.
Oh yeah,
really?
I would think Vegas, but I could be, obviously.
Well, Vegas has a whole lot of trouble you could get into, but so does Miami.
Yes.
I mean, I think. Well, I've heard of the players getting in more trouble in Vegas.
See, this is what I think. I think that Vegas has the trouble that nobody knows of. Like that, like they've got the sneaky trouble, the speakeasy trouble, but Miami just has the trouble that's out there. Like Miami's just like, hey man, you want trouble?
It's in your face. It's 24 hours. There you go.
Yeah, but Vegas, if you're looking for trouble, but you don't want anybody to know about it, I feel like Vegas has got like tons of that, like a smorgasbord of hidden trouble.
Yes. But yeah, you're right. Miami's a little more in your face.
Yeah.
Look, anytime you could walk around with an open container of alcohol and the police don't say nothing, you're in trouble. You're in a place where anything can happen.
Walking around with a gun with no permit, so you could be in trouble there too.
That's true.
That's a good point. That's
fair too. Fair point.
So all right. So you guys have my Knicks. So do you expect the Knicks to do anything in the playoffs? Do you expect them to be one and done? They're gonna go against Cleveland.
I think that. Listen. The Knicks have to beat Cleveland because of the Donovan Mitchell thing.
Yeah.
Like they have to. After they beat Cleveland, hey, it's whatever. Because I don't expect them to come out the East or make any noise really. But that first series, they got to win. They got to beat Donovan. If Cleveland beats them, it's a tragedy. It would be a tragedy.
And let me tell you, heads will roll. I think in the front office because they could have pulled that trigger and they didn't. On that trade, we held it up for RJ Barrett, who regressed this year. RJ Barrett definitely regressed this year, and we held up that trade because he was one of those pieces we didn't want to move.
That's right.
So yeah, and if you look what Donovan Mitchell did, I think he exceeded expectations in Cleveland. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be this good. I mean, again, could you picture him on the Knicks with a Julius Randle at the 4, him at the 2, Jalen Brunson at the 3, at the 1, and then you can have Barrett at the 3, and it's not that big a deal at that point. And you have Mitchell Robinson at the 5, who's a really quality center. If they let him shoot more, I think he'd be even more dangerous. They just don't let him shoot. But that's a starting 5 that I think puts you in the top 3.
It definitely could, barring injury. Best case scenario, they're definitely in contention.
So all right, so let's switch over to the MVP talk, man. We got that graphic. So I think everybody's pretty much there concise. There he goes. I think everyone. This is pretty much. I would imagine everybody's top 3. Is there someone in Nigel for you? Is that your top 3?
I'd say so. And I just want to really quickly touch on that Knicks point.
Okay.
Just the legacy of the Knicks. They just need to make some noise in the playoffs. That's all. That's all I'm going to say to Eugene. Just for the pure fact that they need to make noise in the playoffs.
If they don't, I really do think heads will roll. If they, especially like I said, like Caleb said before, if you lose to Cleveland, not just because it's Cleveland, not because it's the first round, that's bad enough. But if you lose to the team for the guy that you were supposed to bring here to be your alpha, and you didn't get him here because we didn't want to trade the million pick. We have 1 million picks. We didn't want to trade picks. Like, what was the old thing? Fuck those picks, man. F them picks. We don't need it. In basketball more than any other sport, the draft is such a crapshoot more than any other sport. You know who's going to be. You know, like the top few guys, and after that, if you don't put in the top 5 or so, it's really a crapshoot. Like you can get stars later on in the draft, but it's a complete crapshoot.
So I got you fired up. Good. Now let's talk about MVPs.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right. So who do you got?
This is not even a hot take. I'm Giannis. I'm Giannis, man. I'm Team Giannis because I just feel like I'm going to tell it to you straight. I still love the 2019 run that my Toronto Raptors went on, and shout out to the Claw. We're talking about Kawhi making the shot through Embiid's hand. And that shot was destiny. And so from that point on, I was like, Embiid, peace to you, dog. Peace to you. I don't need you. And I think even though he put up the 52, he's getting better every year. He's really adding to his game. I think Giannis is like this player that he's just such a generational, he's such a great aspirational man, the guy's all around. He's all around, like an all-around pound-for-pound player. And I just feel like he's going to squeak it out towards the end. It's going to be a tight race, though. It's going to be a tight race. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the numbers are going to be within 10 or 5 or whatever, maybe even less than that. But Giannis is my guy.
Well, Caleb, is that also your consensus top 3?
Well, yeah, absolutely, that 3. And, I'll just say Nigel and I are probably about to go play karate in the garage because I agree with him wholeheartedly. Who is the real MVP? Now, who do I think will win? Embiid is going to win. Agreed. I really believe that. But who is the MVP? It's Giannis. Without question, he can do everything. And, as much as I like Embiid, it looks like it hurts to run. He looks like he's in pain. He looks like Shaq at the end of Shaq's career. Like he looks like he runs saying my neck and my back. You know what I mean? Like he's just in a constant state of pain, and he's balling, and I give it that. But I just don't. It's Giannis to me, and I think Giannis is the best player in the NBA, pound for pound, over everybody. I think he's number 1. Right? That's debatable. I get it, but for me, nah. Like he's the guy, but I don't think he'll win MVP this year. I think it would be Embiid.
I think my guy's gonna win. I gotta go with Nikola, my Serbian.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you next.
Second of all, Google told me so. So sorry, my money's on him.
Don't go against that AI, man. They'll get you.
No, that's right.
So you got Jokic.
Yep.
All right, I'll take that. I'll tell you what.
Sounds like Jokic. I'm still going.
Jokic. Yeah, I never thought of it like that, but yeah,
I'm going for it. I'm in head first. Let's do this.
So let me tell you guys why all 3 of you guys are wrong. It is Embiid. Guys, look at the season he's amassed. 9 times this year, he's put up 40 points and 10 rebounds. 9 times he's done those stats. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 times this year. That's people don't do that in a career, right? I mean, so like that's amazing. Last night he scored 52 points, right? In a big game, playoff implications, clutch game, 20 to 25 shooting. So he did it from the field. He didn't. It's not like he threw up like 50 shots and got 50 points. He threw up 25 shots, and scored on 20 of them. Also, he is only the third center to put up 50 points in a game 3 times in the season. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it 3 times, and I believe Wilt did it 5. But that's only happened 3 other times.
Erroneous on all counts.
No,
I'm talking about who's really that important to their team. Now, Embiid is for the Sixers.
That's where I'm going to go with it. Now I'm going to where, if you look at, and Giannis is the most gifted player maybe since LeBron's like major, like the prime part of his career. Like he's that guy.
Okay.
My difference though is you look at the team around him. The Bucks have a better squad, man. They got Brook Lopez who's having a research. Brook Lopez is having a comeback year, man. He looks like he's lost 5 years of his, put back 5 years back onto his life.
Comeback years though. He's been,
But that's what I'm saying. Like he seems like 5 years younger.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday is fantastic on that team. He's fit in big time. Who else we got? Dragic, old. But is there just a floor general, man?
Right.
He's coming off the bench. I'm Jay Crowder, another veteran off the bench to put on. Not even off the bench. I think he starts, but just look at this team. They had what was it yesterday? We had one guy hit 19, another guy hit 19. They were two guys had 19 points. Otherwise, they put at 5 guys with 20 points or more. I know you're gonna say James Harden on the Sixers. James Harden is not the same James Harden from 3, 4, 5 years ago from the Rockets days.
Beard.
It's probably the beard. Maybe he's weighing it down a little bit, especially when it's all wet.
Down.
I think if you're telling me who is the most gifted player in the NBA today, it's Giannis. Hands down, he's the most gifted. If you're asking me who's the most essential, valuable part to their team, I think it's Embiid.
See, and I feel like what you did is you made a really great argument. It's like we're watching one of the best Law and Order episodes, the court case. This great argument, and then you said something, and you're like, oh, I think I just lost the case for my client,
which happens every single episode of Law and Order. They say something on the
halfway through. But what you did was you mentioned Giannis's surrounding cast, right?
Yeah,
he's got this amazing supporting cast. Sure, man, we get it. And then you mentioned one guy from Philly, which is Harden. So all I'm saying is that I get that your argument for Embiid and why he's the man. But once he needs to get his rest, because that brother needs his rest, nothing else can happen with that team, right? But Giannis, at least, and listen, his biggest setback, I think, this season has been injuries. I know that for a fact because he was on my fantasy team. That was really hard to take. But his injuries really set him back. And I think if he wasn't injured as often for as long, I think that then it might be a different conversation. But in terms of the supporting cast, that just makes him better. That's all it does. It just makes him better. And he makes them better. That's why my argument is for him. But those injuries, man, he had so many injuries this season, and that really took him out of the mix. He was good enough to stay there, but it's not gonna get him the trophy, I think.
I agree to an extent, but again, I think you have proven my case of why I think it is Embiid by saying that there's not, like, when Embiid comes off the floor, it's scary time. It's scary hours for the 76ers, right? Like I know I mentioned I threw up PJ Tucker's day before. But PJ Tucker had a great down the stretch part of the game last night. But you can't rely game in, game out on PJ Tucker. You can't. You can rely a little bit on Harden. Just he's not the same guy he used to be. But name another guy on that team, Maxey maybe. Who is another guy that you can rely now on Milwaukee? There's a lot of guys you could rely on when Giannis goes off to the sideline. Like I said, Drew Holiday, defender on offense on both ends of the floor. He's a leader. And then you got even the floor generals like a Dragic, who again he's not the same guy he was, but you know what he's capable of doing, even though he's at an older age. He's gonna be able to take that team and rally the troops, and he's gonna be able to be a leader on that court when Giannis has to take a seat. And that's the surrounding cast. Why they might be the best team, but I feel like that MVP is over there. It's over there in Philly. That's my take on it.
Okay.
So Katrina, who won that debate?
Me, obviously.
Oh, I forgot she had it. Yeah. All right.
With confidence.
It's a no-brainer. Jokic. He won it 2 years. So
Everybody knows that.
But you know what? Let's switch our attention over to Lamar Jackson, which is one of the biggest questions. And it's crazy that this is even going on still with the talent level that he has. Nigel, what's your take on Lamar? What is it that's holding this up? Is it the injuries? What is it for you?
For me, in general, the whole thing is just a hot mess. It's just a hot, flaming mess. The biggest part of this dysfunctional transaction between not only him and the Ravens, but him and other teams is there's no middle person. There is no he's representing himself. There's no agent. So nobody is actually doing some of the talking for. Yeah, Katrina, you're shaking your head because
Express over there,
right? Because it's just you can't do that and negotiate, and then also you can't put your fingers in all the cookie jars, man. You can't have your hands in all the cookie jars because there's too many teams. But also, people know how volatile he can be. People know that he can be injury prone, and right now, if you're being that guy who is trying to negotiate your own contract, I mean, what does that say about you as a business person or as an athlete? You know, like I'm coming from the negative perspective in terms of where's your focus at? If you want to focus and just be the stellar athlete that we know you can be and maybe get out of round one of the playoffs, then get somebody to do this management for you. Get somebody to talk for you.
I don't get it either because to me it's a no-brainer. Why would just for the fine-tooth combing of a contract? You need to have somebody, right? Like, and I think it's him and his mom. If I'm not mistaken, I think him and his mom are the ones that are doing negotiating. There's no way you know everything you need to know. The people go to school for years and years and years. Lawyers go to school for years and to be able to do this stuff. Listen, if he knows how to like read contracts and stuff, he knows he's not going to miss something. Then more power to him.
Sure.
But where there's obviously a disconnect. Where do you say the disconnect is, Caleb?
Well, first of all, the disconnect is thinking that he doesn't have anybody. See, he's a member of the NFLPA. They have lawyers, negotiators, everything that are working for him. They are. That's just, he doesn't have somebody who's directly like his agent, like a Drew Rosenhaus or whatever, but he has the NFLPA. So he's covered. He actually
is. He utilizing them though? Is he utilizing them? Because from what
they're involved with all of it. It's part of the thing. You can't be in the NFL and not part of the NFLPA.
That I get. And not being sad.
It's just the way it is, right?
That I get though, but I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to clarify: is he utilizing them to help him with his contract though? Because I know he's part of it, but
they're involved with everything. He just has the final say. Like he's doing it instead of having that person that the NFLPA people would call. Hey, Drew, this is what's going on, and then he would call Lamar. They're calling Lamar or they're calling his mom, right? So, however he's doing it, but look. The world has changed now. It's so different. Like I was born January 3rd, 1980. So I remember when there was no such thing as the internet, right? Yeah. Now there is. Like people are connected. Deals, college players can make millions of dollars now. That used to be illegal. They took Reggie Bush's Heisman for just receiving a little bit of money. Now you can make $1 million, right? Think about that. Yeah. So the world has completely changed. So I don't think it's that bad that he's representing himself. Why not? If you're going to die, you're going to die anyway. 6 million ways to die. Choose one. You're going to die by your own hand or somebody else. Right? But then I'm going to say this. I think the issue that some people in other platforms are talking about it, but I agree with them. The real issue is Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
That outlining contract. $232 million guaranteed.
That's the problem.
That messed the entire game up. The reason why they're doing this with Lamar is not because they don't know his value, not because they don't want to pay him. They just don't want to give him 220 guaranteed. Like they don't want to do that. Kyler Murray is the next highest paid with guaranteed money. I think it's like 175 or 185. It's one of the two.
Also a bad deal.
Guaranteed, right? The best quarterback in the NFL right now is Patrick Mahomes, and he don't even have that much guaranteed. Now he has the bigger contract, $500 million over the rest of his life. You know,
pretty much, yeah.
But
He's going nowhere.
But it's like that's what it is. So Lamar is fighting. The reason why they're fighting is because whatever Lamar gets is going to set the bar for everybody to come after that. And they're trying to pull that stuff down. They don't want to guarantee contracts for quarterbacks that play the way that he does. And sadly, everybody does. Josh Allen plays exactly the same way. And he's twice as big as Lamar.
Yeah.
He runs, he lowers his shoulder, he does it all. That's the way the quarterback position is going to be played from here on out. You got to have a quarterback that can threaten to run and throw. So you're going to get hit more, which causes more injuries. So the owners don't want to give somebody that much guaranteed, and they can get hit and be out all season, and that becomes dead money, right? Yep. So that's really what it is. It's not that they don't recognize it. It's none of that. It's just they're like, if we give him 210, 200 million, 220, whatever, like everybody else is about to get crazy. Because my dude, right, Jalen Hurts, because I'm a diehard Eagles fan, is going to be like, well, I was just in the Super Bowl and I had an MVP season. So I was asking for 185. Now I want 200. You see what I mean? Like it's just going to stack it up. So that's what I think the real issue is. It's nothing to do with ethnicity. Nobody's hating because he's black. None of that. The highest paid quarterbacks in the game are all black. The majority of them, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, those three right there. They make more than Aaron Rodgers, who's better than all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but to be fair, though, he did deal with that race issue coming out of college where they said, oh, I'd change him to receiver. I'd change him to running back. He did deal with that. So that's where you feel like he could be there because of it. Yeah.
Well, see, look, because he's so dynamic with his legs. I mean, who wouldn't want him to be a running back or a wide receiver? Of course. Imagine if.
But make him a dual threat. Now he can throw or run. But imagine, but now he's a dual threat. He can throw or run. Now you don't know if he's going to drop back and take off.
His accuracy wasn't the best in the Navy at one point.
True.
So you know, it's like, but you know, so that was the issue. Now his accuracy has gotten a lot better, and he runs. So it's that dual threat. But again, you're getting hit a whole lot more. They can throw the flag. There's teams that will take a 15-yard penalty just to lay a hat on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Send a message.
And that could be detrimental. You know what I mean? So ask Tua. Look at the hits Tua took. Had Tua not been out with those concussions, Miami would have had a stronger season, a whole lot stronger. But you go as your quarterback goes. So again, it's really just managing the money that the NFL is going to have to start paying these guys that are going to get hurt. It's not if, it's a matter of when.
Now, you see, I'm a Jet fan, so I don't know what a good quarterback looks like. So I have never seen one in my life. I've never seen one. Maybe I'll get to see one soon in a couple of weeks. I'll see what they look like. I couldn't even pick one out of a lineup if it was staying right in front of me. I don't know what good quarterbacks are. But Nigel, you're being from Canada. I'm assuming you're not just an Argonauts fan. Who do you root for over down here in the States?
Oh, I'm a Steelers guy. I'm a Steelers guy.
Okay.
I've been a Steelers guy from time. Like I'm talking about like the Barry Foster running back era days. Like the days where it was like hard nose, hit him in the mouth.
Bam Morris. Remember Bam Morris back in the day?
Yeah. So I'm that guy. So Steelers are my boys. And this conversation isn't about them, but right now we're going through a lot of changes and the Steelers Nation is very we're sensitive. We're very sensitive because we're so used to a certain tradition, and we come from a very tough skin and tough upbringing, and always making playoffs and always grinding but like the last couple of seasons have been rough, and there's a lot of fans out there that are just like, get Tom out of there, get Tom. I'm like, guys,
consistency has been one of your strong suits, not panicking.
So the transition has been tough. I'm a big Tom the guy. I'm down with the Steelers. It's fine. We're bound to go through a transition period. We know Ben wasn't going to stick around forever. He should have left a season before we all know that too. It is what it is. But that's who I support, man. I'm black and yellow all day, every day. I was wearing my black and yellow actually earlier this morning, just going for a coffee and just like, hey, you know what? It's football season in my eyes, baby.
Well, you know what, Katrina, we're going to talk about where Lamar might end up. Does he stay in Baltimore, or do you think he needs to just go find another place to go? If there's this big disconnect about the guaranteed money, do you see him just going somewhere else?
Yeah, I think he's got to hit the road, and I think he should probably ditch his mom because he's not a Kardashian.
Get rid of the momager?
Yeah, get rid of the momager. I'm sure she loves you. You should still eat her cooking, but probably get yourself some real representation and get the thing done.
Go get your Rosenhaus.
Why isn't he with the Colts? They don't want him.
Well, the Colts, I think there's talk that there was Colts were interested at one point. I'll tell you where, and we'll just talk about where he's going to go.
The price tag.
The price tag is the problem. You got to give a ton of money.
Rounders, and I want $200 million guaranteed.
So, like, is this going to be another who was I'm blanking on the running back that the Jets and Le'Veon Bell? Is this going to be another Le'Veon Bell situation where he's going to sit out for a year or two and then go somewhere and then lose
if I was
time?
Lamar, I would sit out on that franchise tag 1,000% because you can't risk getting hurt this season. Hell no. And he's not leaving. I agree. Katrina said he should. I agree he should, but he won't. No team is going to pick him up. So he's going to be in Baltimore next season. I just would not play. No way. Under no circumstances.
I get that. You know what would be a great fit for him? Unfortunately, they just don't have a first-round pick to pay for it. Miami. He's from the area, Pompano Beach. He's got receivers. He's got running backs.
The greatest team in the history of John Madden football. Lamar Jackson was on that Miami.
You know how the whole team would be on the cover of Madden next year.
Oh my God! Like they'd be unbeatable in Madden.
Yeah. But that would be that would be a great spot for me. They just don't have any first rounders to pay for it. Like
I also got wind that the Patriots were thinking about it for a hot minute, and for me, yeah, exactly, Caleb. That face is a face of like yikes, because that
not
is
a fit.
like
I don't think it's a fit personally.
It's such a weird thought as well. You know what I mean? That to go to see Lamar Jackson running out in the Patriots uniform, like what is that? You know what I mean?
I just don't think him
had a good season with New England before COVID, right? He was doing okay, where people were like, "Yo, look at Cam." Imagine if Belichick had that guy.
I'll be honest. I don't see it as a marriage that would work. I'm still surprised they brought in who's the guy who used to be over in Pittsburgh, the receiver.
Juju
Smith-Schuster is so not a Belichick guy. Like, he's all about the social media and everything else. And to think that he's actually going to want to do it the Patriot way is super bizarre to me.
Listen,
in the words of my man Kevin Hart, you gonna learn today.
Right.
You gonna go to New England? You gonna learn today.
Yeah. Listen, there's not gonna be time for TikToks.
On social media, and watch how quick Belichick in that.
Yeah, let's move on, because it hurts. It pains me that Juju already left to go to KC, and I was like, you know what? KC's probably my second favorite team, only because my best friend is his team. I'm like, fine, and Juju fit in that. He fit in that scheme. He fit in it very well. He wasn't obviously he wasn't a number one, number two, but he was in there just at the right times. And you could always count on him to make those catches and also make those social TikToks. You knew he was going to do that. But for him to go to the – Caleb, you are so right. For him to go – he's now jumping into a void. He's going to play for the Patriots and disappear.
That's right.
That happens. You either excel in New England or you never get heard from again.
Yeah, Mac Jones, he's fine, but no, not fine enough. It's not going to happen.
No. But so let's do a little hot take. If he's, where do you see him? If he's going to leave Baltimore, let's hypothetically say he's leaving Baltimore. That's done. That ship has sailed. Let's go around the horn real quick. Nigel, start you. Where does he end up? What's the one team that you could say that's where I think he goes if he's not going to stay in Baltimore?
Man, I don't know, bro. If I go quick, I think it would be. I think it would be Patriots. Even though I just talked about it, I just feel like it's odd enough to make that. It's odd enough that it could happen.
They did make Randy Moss work.
Yeah.
That was one that you didn't think. I think anyone thought would work, and that did work. So that could be a case.
Yeah, I'll go Patriots.
What about you, Caleb?
Man, I don't really know. I thought the Raiders were gonna make a play at him because I felt they would need somebody like him in Oakland would have been. I mean, in Vegas would have been amazing. But I think if he really goes, the only team that could really get him or afford to have him would be the Colts. I
didn't want to say it. I don't want it. It felt weird coming out of my mouth.
But it's
it
like,
seems
and I
so
don't know if I
weird,
can see him,
right?
but I tell you this, it's a dome. Woo! He don't have to worry about weather.
Clean turf.
Yo.
Clean turf.
It's like playing football in the house.
Well, that's why I think Atlanta was so appealing at one point. Atlanta was such an appealing place for him to go at one point. I think a lot of people supposed to be Atlanta, but
the owner,
they have nothing there.
Messed up.
Yeah.
He should have never said that. It's like, you big dummy. You drafted Michael Vick, and you gonna talk about somebody getting hurt running the football.
I think that was more just showing support for his young guy. I think it was more that than anything else.
I get it, but that was a dumb move. You tell your young boy, take a knee. We're bringing him in. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Sure. Katrina, where do you think he ends up? If you had to pick a city for him.
I would like to see him in Vegas.
I know you that's your team.
Vegas needs love. They need support. They need all the help they can get. They need to play through the whole year instead of just at the end.
Well, I'm sure you gotta love your quarterback right now, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
He's a handsome man.
Well, he's going to be really busy. I heard he has a free pass at one of those special locations.
At the Bunny Ranch.
Oh
yeah.
That's in the contract? You get that? That's a contractual thing?
Before then.
So they were like, "Where's Jimmy? You know where Jimmy is."
Yeah. Why? It's rhetorical. You know where Jimmy is.
That's where he is.
Being an NFL quarterback, looking that pretty in a city like Vegas is kind of just unfair. Oh, it really is.
You're gonna have 12 baby mamas by next month.
God bless him for it.
Katrina, what's the vibe like in Vegas now? You know, the Raiders are obviously king out there, but the Knights are destroying too, right? The Knights are like number one.
Are still in the game.
Yeah.
People in Vegas are finally proud. Like, they feel justified that they finally, after all these years, not only got one sports team, but they got two.
Yeah.
And the one is actually amazing. The other one, we're still working. Still working on them Raiders. They're their thing. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. I think this year. I think Pretty Boy is going to take us much farther.
I think it's about time that that some move happens. I think we're getting to that point where I think enough people – we need to finally get something going with the Raiders. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we made some embarrassing mistakes last year. Like, they're tripping over each other and we lose in the last second because they literally tripped each other and they're doing a little dance until they fall down. Like, what is this? It was like watching the Three Stooges on the field.
That's another historical team that I want to see come back and rise to some kind of fruition. You know what I mean? Like, I mentioned the Knicks before, but the Raiders, Caleb, me and you are a couple years off from birth time. So we know that era of football, right? And of basketball, where the Knicks were always not even so much champions, but they're always in the mix. Raiders always in the mix. There's just these classic teams you just want to see show up again,
Right. Yeah. Without question.
Real quick, Caleb, is that a Cobra Kai shirt?
No, sir. Don't do that to yourself.
What is it? Or is that G.I. Joe? Is that Cobra Commander?
Anybody out there who's watching, look, if you know what logo this is, and I'll give you a hint, what villain is this? Now, if you from my era,
let me know when you guys when you guys are ready.
Is it a cartoon?
Yes.
Is it Mask?
No, sir.
Oh, good. That's a good. It's in
I went deep. I went deep into that.
Yeah,
one.
That's a deep.
That was good, right, but no.
Katrina, do you know?
Mm-mm.
Do I gotta help everybody out? Is that what I gotta do?
Let us know.
Anybody in the chat know? No. Okay.
How do you have something? Is that Mumra?
Mumra! Yeah, baby. This is Mumra.
I gotta tell you, it's kind of creepy that you actually happen to have the toys that accessible.
Listen, you wear a toy shirt, I literally probably have it.
That's real. You're embarrassed. I think it's amazing. The song that went with it was
right. Even the theme song, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
There it is, kids. There it is.
I mean, those aren't the kind of toys I play with, but to each of them.
Oh,
hey now.
Hey.
I mean, if you want to reach down and grab
hey.
it.
And that's why Katrina is part of the team, everybody. So, just to make us blush. All right, so guys, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have our guest. She's a Disney influencer, Alessa Dufresne. We're going to talk a little bit about that Tron ride opening. That's like the biggest ride to come out in like the last million years at Disney. So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes and where the direction of the Disney parks are going. So let's take a short commercial break. We'll be right back with Alessa Dufresne.
All right.
Welcome to the
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
All right, guys, let's welcome our guest, Alessa Dufresne.
Hi.
Hey, one of my favorite Disney influencers. Welcome to the show.
You're so nice, thank you.
You do a great job online, and you know what? This is the time to have you on, right? We're talking about Tron. It's like the biggest ride, like that they released it. They worked on it for, but I think they would work on this ride for about 14 years. I think it's been about trying to put this thing together.
About 14 years, yeah.
Give us some insight for those that haven't been able to get a chance to look at it yet. Give us some insight to what people can expect with it.
Yeah, so they've been working on it for 5 years, but it was originally in Shanghai. I've not ridden the Shanghai one, but like visually it looks like it's basically like a carbon copy from that attraction. But if you guys have ever seen like Tron or like Tron Legacy, the newer movie, it's more so based on that, where like you're entering the grid and you're on the blue team and you're racing against the orange team. So it's all virtual queue. So you have to like do the same, like wake up before 7 a.m. and try to get in that queue so that you're able to actually wait in the normal queue. But it is, it's like, I feel like it's a coaster that's had so much talking about it for, aside from the fact that it took so long to build. The seats are also interesting in the sense that you're leaning forward on a motorbike. There's a few other attractions like this, but I think this one is the most I've ever leaned forward. Like there's other rides, like Hagrid's in Universal also has a similar ride vehicle, but this one you're leaning way more forward than Hagrid. So it like, I think bothers some people physically than it like would others. Like I know for guys, like that people have complained about like the male region being a difficult area, women with like larger a larger upstairs. I know that that's not as comfortable. So I feel like some people, and also depending on your like just general size, a lot of people aren't even fitting.
Yeah, I'm barely tall enough.
She's barely tall enough.
I don't know what the height requirement is, but it's like
yeah, see there we can see there. I believe that's the Shanghai one though. I don't think that's the American one. But yeah,
it's the same. I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's cookie cutter. I think it's the exact same thing. I actually got to ride it last week. I actually rode it. Can I give a hot take? Because I know people are going to be a little confused or like I be shocked. I wasn't impressed with it.
I think that's a lot of people are feeling because it's like a 5-year wait on a ride, and it looks so grandiose too from the outside. It lights up blue and like orange at night. It takes up so much like real estate. But it's a short attraction as well. It's like a really short ride.
It's like 60 seconds, I think, something like that. And it takes off really cool. It flies out of nowhere. It flies out of the gate. But you're right. It's the difference with the Hagrid one. It's almost like you're sitting back on a chopper, like on Hagrid's. This is more like you're on a racing bike. So
Yeah.
you're kind of sitting forward, and you're right. It's a very uncomfortable the way you're leaning in. But I mean, do we expect this? This is obviously it's shutting down the park pretty much. I heard that it's like almost impossible to get in because of this one ride. I still think the other ride is the ride though. The Guardians of the Galaxy one is the bigger ride over there. But what are we seeing as far as the crowds because of this?
Yesterday was absolutely insane. I know that it's like spring break season, so that could be part of the reason. But like, yesterday, the lightning lane for that attraction, which is like, I mean, a lot of you guys probably know, but like you can either buy the Disney Genie Plus, which will get you into a lot of lightning lanes, but for certain like bigger attractions, you have to just pay to get like, if you want to skip the line, you have to solely pay for that attraction. I think it was $20 yesterday. And that sold out before the park even opened.
It's free money.
Really, the normal Disney Genie also sold out. Like, I think it's $35 yesterday. It sold out like by 9 a.m. It's crazy. But the light, like even the virtual queue for Tron was gone very fast. When I was there yesterday, it's the thing is like when there's a lot of people there, a lot of the beginning part of the queue, it does like a lot of zigzagging before you actually get to undercover. And in Florida, it's hot. It was like 90 degrees yesterday, I think it went up to, and there's no shading in that first section. So for about 45 minutes of the first part of that queue, I was outside. So I was pretty hot. And it took me almost 2.5 hours to get to the front of the ride waiting in the normal virtual queue. I don't know if it was just like a really poppin' time and everyone got called or if it got better later in the day, but it was like 2.5 hours is excessive. I've never, even like for Cosmic Rewind for Guardians, I've never waited that long for virtual queue. So maybe it's just like opening day growing pains, but it's been open for a little bit now.
I know they had the early riders or whatever, right? So Katrina, what's your take on? Are you a Tron fan? Because I feel like you don't have to be a Tron fan to like this, but are you a Tron fan? Did you love the movies?
Not really. I prefer more live action. I like martial arts type, but I mean, I think the ride looks cool. I don't know if I want to spend all that money to jump the line, and I don't know if I want to spend 2.5 hours in the sun for a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, 60-second ride. I was excited about it because it says it's Disney's fastest ride, like of any of their parks in history.
To be fair though, it's still not faster than some other coasters in the area. There's a coaster in Universal that's actually faster than it. So
yeah, this is the fastest Disney.
Yeah, but that's
But it sounds like not only is it fast, but it goes by too fast. So I don't know.
Way too fast. Way too fast. So we got a lot of other changes going on in the parks, right, Alessa? So give us a little insight. This, we got this changeover having it Splash Mountain, which is I think important not only just in Disney and just getting a new ride, but also I think very important culturally. Is that right? Is that the word culturally?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that ride, I mean, especially like even with like stuff that I'm doing with work and stuff, it's so much interesting controversy obviously surrounding the change. You have different levels of people who have their opinions and thoughts. Some people just like the nostalgia of growing up with like the ride of Splash Mountain as a kid, that part. Some people take it, I think, to me too far. I'm excited to see the ride come in. I know today they're actually working on like chopping down the top of the mountain, like that tree stump looking aspect.
Oh, so they're actually making. I didn't think they were gonna. I thought most of that stuff was going to stay the same. That they were just going to kind of just re-theme some of the inside. I didn't realize they were actually going to totally like rework the whole whole area.
I don't like. I think some parts are going to exist similarly to what it was like on the exterior of it, at least for sure. Because it's like you still have like the similar like brown tone, like mountain-esque
Bayou kind of like
like it's still a similar environment.
Yeah.
But like I guess like I think the top of the tree also had like a silhouette of Brer Rabbit, so I think that they had to get rid of the top.
Yeah, that is true. Like I never knew it until after. I remember everyone all said, "Hey, did you notice this?" And it came out after it was already closed. I never saw it beforehand.
Yeah, I picked up on it too. I was like, oh, I never even like I just didn't notice it. But perhaps that I guess they just obviously need to make changes for it to match what the concept art is for like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I mean, I think that like the entire what will stay the same is the ride track, but and maybe like a couple little like frog characters or little like woodland characters, you know, I'm sure some of those will like make an appearance again, but I think it's gonna I have a feeling it's gonna feel like a completely different attraction. Just because there's so much, I think there's a lot riding on this. Like a lot of people are either excited or upset, and the only way to go, in my opinion, is to like kill it. So I think it's gonna be cool. Like I'm excited. I like Princess and the Frog has awesome music, and I think it'll cater to like, you know, you have the perfect like villain songs that can go with the drops and all of that sort of stuff. So I think it's exciting, right? Like I see, like I'm at the parks very often, so they're really moving along. Like every time you go, every day you go, something new is being removed or they're working on something else. Right now it's definitely like a very gutted construction zone with so much going on. But I mean, that's good. It just means that they're working fast. So hopefully this one won't take 5 years.
Right. I mean, now, Nigel, you're a big Disney guy. What's your take on the whole Splash Mountain? And I know it's kind of old news now, but what's your take on it?
Well, first and foremost, man, a huge fan of The Princess and the Frog. I mean, it's just like I love that movie. I love that. Oh man, this is gonna sound kind of cliche, that Disney took a risk and did that kind of a story because it was really outside. Disney traditionally didn't do stories like that, but to have one not only in the bayou, but to have the villain, you know, have some sort of voodoo, like it was dark like other villains, but Dr. Facilier is just a different style. It was just a different, and the whole thing was so stylish.
He was cool as a villain too. Like there was a cool factor to Facilier.
1000%. So I'm down with. Listen, these parks, especially this one in Florida, it needs some rejuvenation. It needs some new life. I mean, if you're bringing new generations to these parks, man, something's got to give. You got to change something at some point. So I like that they're incorporating more of the current movies into the park. So you can now go and you can venture into different spots and different places that you know and love. So I'm all for it. And I agree with you, Alessa. Very nice to meet you. And I think that's one thing that they need to do. The requirement is to kill it, like not as in like to shut it down, but to do the best job that they can and go above and beyond. Make it cohesive with the park, but make it entertaining. Make it educational if you can. You know, that's where I stand.
I thought one of the cool things they did with that, and hopefully that'll be a big aspect to the ride too, is it was a different style of music that, you know, it was the jazz, and you don't hear jazz in anything else that Disney does. This is like the chance for them to now go in a direction with jazz music, which I thought was really super important, even just as far as culture is concerned. Caleb, are you a Disney guy? Okay.
Well, yeah, my daughter loves it, so we go every year for her birthday. So I'm Disneyed up. We just came back. Her birthday is March 9th, so we just went a few weeks ago, and I love it. Like it's really, really fun. I tell you, my favorite ride is The Incredibles. It's amazing, and I live in LA, so I'm at the Anaheim one. All right, just to clear that up.
The small
The Incredibles is amazing. We love that ride. Cars, The Incredibles, and let me tell you, Space Mountain still goes. Space Mountain is still fire. I love it. I had such a good time on that. We had a ball. But what I like about The Princess and the Frog, okay, one thing, Splash Mountain was never my thing. I don't like getting wet at water parks. One, you stay wet all dang day. And two, the water stinks. I don't like that. No, right? So I don't like that. So I prefer not to get wet. But what I will say about the Princess and the Frog thing with the Bayou flow, I love especially of Disney, because you know usually at Disneyland when you're in a certain area, everything caters to whatever that thing is, right? Like whatever the main attraction in that area, all around the vendors, the food, everything is kind of caters to that style, right? So like by Space Mountain, they have Astro churros that are different. They're like, they got different colors and different things to like mimic space, right? So if they do the Bayou and they got Louisiana style food in that area that you can get, man, that sounds like it.
They got it, bro. They
That
got
sounds
it.
good. Like, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. But, you know, I agree with Nigel, you know, just bringing in new things, because it's like after a while you have to change things. You know what I mean? You got to change things to keep it flowing. And if you remove something that people want back, you say, okay, hold it for a little while, and then and then you bring it back when you want, and then it goes again. You know what I mean? But so I'm all for new things. I want to try the Tron ride. I would imagine it was dope. I was hoping it was more virtual, so like they could really start using the VR technology, because once your brain thinks something is happening, that's all you need. like you know what I mean? So I'll see what the roller coaster is like, you know, but you know, if it sucks, that would be a tragedy for me, because I don't like that. I don't like waiting and then not be happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that could be, you know, used in a whole lot of other scenarios as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's right. You make me wait.
So Alessa, what can we expect from the future of the Disney parks? Because obviously they're still doing a lot over in Epcot. What can we expect going forward in the world of Disney? I guess they're not doing so much in Disneyland, right? But in Disney World, there's a lot of still changing. What can we expect to see in a few years?
Well, obviously, I feel like Epcot will be completely like changed and everything. There's right now when you go, it's like a construction zone with walls taking up half of the theme park. And it feels almost like that's what Epcot is now, because it's been so many years that it's been under this construction. So you almost forget how like open and beautiful it's meant to be and supposed to be. So obviously Epcot is going to be, I think, like the biggest thing we're going to see. The Polynesian is going to have its new DVC section too. So aside from that, I don't think they've not confirmed another Disney resort. I know some people keep talking about a new like Epcot resort, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That's, I think, just mostly speculative. Another like interesting speculative.
Wait! I don't want to. I want to go backtrack real quick. You said Epcot resort, like there's going to be in around Epcot, or they might put a resort in Epcot,
like an entryway into.
Oh, okay, like a boardwalk or a like beach club kind of.
I think almost more like a Grand Californian. Like if you're in Disneyland, how like you can literally walk into Disney California Adventure. So where you have a direct access. I mean, I don't know if that is a full valid thing. It's just something that I've heard. But in the latest, like they just had their shareholder meeting like a few days ago, and Iger said that I think they're and don't like fact check this number, but I'm pretty sure he said that in the next 10 years, Disney is investing $16 billion into Walt Disney World and will provide 13,000 new jobs. And a lot of people think like that sounds like a fifth gate. Like if you're gonna,
I heard the rumor too. I did hear that rumor. Yeah. There's a lot of talk. It's finally going to be that villains park that everyone's been like forever.
I mean, like that I was at D23 when they like showed all of that like concept art, blue sky type stuff, and the villain set. Like when they showed that was like the crowd was like wild. So that will be interesting. I also from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it is most likely a go ahead with the Zootopia and Moana theming taking over Dinoland USA in Animal Kingdom. That seems like I know Disney hasn't confirmed it. I've just heard from some people that it seems like that's what is like a potential yes and a definite go ahead. It also, when they were talking about it, it was the first one they're talking about with the most detail. Seems like the most planning, and like Dinoland USA also in Animal Kingdom has, you know, they've lost attractions. They're not looking to replace them yet. It seems like the perfect storm to like basically retheme an entire land. If that happens though, I'm sure that's like, it's going to take them years probably. I would almost imagine they need to complete Epcot and then move on to Animal Kingdom, because if you're gonna like turn another park into a construction zone, it's like when Hollywood Studios was going through everything. The other parks were in like massive construction. Before that would have been Magic Kingdom, then Studios. Now it's Epcot. It's like Animal Kingdom. Well, I guess Animal Kingdom too with Pandora, but I feel like that might be like the next thing to see. Honestly, aside from that, I think it's also just going to keep getting more expensive.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
harder for a lot of us. Like, I mean, I have an annual pass, but like I was pricing it out. I was like, if a family comes for like 4 days and they're a family of 4, like you're spending like almost $3,000 on just the tickets alone.
Just the tickets, yeah.
That's crazy. Just tickets. It's like you still need to fly there, lodge there, the food, everything go like every few months. I'm noticing like alcohol just went up, like the beer's $1 more now, or like 50 cents extra for like a churro, or like a bottle of Sprite is $5. So all of that stuff is just like, whew, we're getting on top of like, you want to skip a line, it used to be free. It's so expensive now. And it was at $15 when they started Disney Genie. And today it's at $35. So you just got to like think that was just, they just started that like a year ago, maybe a year and a half. And it's already like, you know, pricing up higher. So like, I love Disney, but dang, those prices are expensive. So I think it's going to become harder to obtain. Hopefully they do some more cool things like within the parks. I actually think like Disneyland, Disneyland obviously is going to get the Splash Mountain stuff. They are going to have, like you were saying, like all of the food. Louisiana, like they're retheming one of their restaurants to become a Tiana restaurant. And I mean, it already fits. They already are a New Orleans section where it's going, but I think it's going to fit even more. But they have a whole new hotel side coming up as well. I think that new Disneyland DVC tower, which looks real swanky, looks like something I cannot afford. Something that I would love to tour. But I think it'll be interesting. We're also in this weird period where it's like you have Iger who stepped back in, but only for 2 years. But it seems like he's kind of laying the groundwork for what could be the next 10 years for when the new whoever they hire as the like actual CEO, because he seems much more interim, so that there's maybe a little bit more creative structure, I guess. But yeah, still, I don't know. Some of it seems like I like some of the stuff they're doing, and then I look at like the price points and
it's out of the control.
It's just getting so crazy, and it's sometimes I feel like I'm like they listen to the fans with like Happily Ever After coming back. I truly believe that was like a public outcry of people disliking one fireworks show so much and having loved Happily Ever After so much, and they put that in knowing it would like satisfy the majority of people. But it's with Walt Disney World also just being such in comparison to Disneyland, even though Disneyland is just as expensive, but like a vacation destination where the like satisfying tourists is the more important thing than satisfying like the locals. I think that as long as they can keep pushing people to be like, that vacation that once cost like $2,500 for the week now costs $10,000 for your family, and like putting it up to like the Disney Genie Plus $35. You'll pay $35. Maybe you'll pay $40. If you're at $40, like, are you willing to go to $50? And people, it's selling out. So people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Katrina shared a tip with me yesterday about a way to save money. Katrina, what was that tip again? At Disney?
I have a new tip for you, actually.
Oh, a new one. What is it?
That I think is better than the Genie Pass. You got to wait till you have a broken leg. You go in a wheelchair and you skip every single line. You get to do a lot of them just by yourself or with all your friends. That's what I did on my Dirty 30. And I think that's the tip of the day. Who has a broken leg, definitely get a wheelchair. It's only $80. You wheel through, you save your feet, and you skip all the lines.
Yeah, if you get the disability pass, it definitely that's the best. I mean, it's not great if you have to use it, but then if you are using it, you're definitely saving way more time. You're like, you can just basically say like, I want to ride this ride, and it'll tell you like, come back in 30 minutes, and then you get to use the lightning lane, which is
that we have a friend that has the pass for their child. And so when we go with them, we always utilize it. It is actually you could get a lot more done. It is a godsend because, like I said, our friends of ours, they use it. And so when we all go together, we all link our reservations together. So we're actually able to utilize it as well, and it really is a godsend. And really needed for, like, a lot of people. It's really a blessing for a lot of people that wouldn't be able to do a lot of the rides because they wouldn't be able to wait like they would otherwise. So, so Alessa, real quick before we let you go, is it worth it? Is Tron worth the wait? Not wait for him to build it for 5 years or whatever it was, but the wait online. Guardians, to me, I'll wait for 3 hours for Guardians. That's a fun.
Yeah, Guardians ride. Is amazing. It's hard to compare that one to Tron.
It's a different ride. It's different.
They're
technology.
So different. Yeah, and it's like it's a new technology, whereas Tron is like I said, it's a copy from something they've done before. I mean, I would say it's worth to wait at least once to say like that you're gonna ride it. I know it sucks with the line, and I mean, a good way to gauge it is like I waited 2.5 hours. If the outside part of the queue, like before you actually enter the domed area, is like fully being taken up, like you're probably waiting 2.5 hours. If you're not waiting outside as much as if you kind of move to that like hooded section of the queue right away, you're going to save probably at least like an hour of that time. So depending when you go, perhaps it won't be as bad of a wait as like what I had to experience yesterday. Again, that was opening day, Lightning Lane being sold out. So maybe that has something to do with it, but new ride. My suggestion is sitting as far back as possible. When you sit in I've done both of them. When you sit in the front, it's cool because you get like that initial launch. That's fun. But you miss like when you go into the actual building, there's so much going on, so much neon, so much like you see like the racers like riding next to you. And you can actually see the full scope of the whole building. And I find that is where it's most impressive, where like you get a lot more visual than if you're just in the front. I wasn't as impressed when I rode the front, but then when I rode in the back, I was like, oh, like I saw so much more. This time it feels like a little bit more like you're actually in a race scenario where I didn't feel that in the front. Does it blow me away? No. Am I happy to have another ride in Magic Kingdom though? Like, yes, I'm not going to complain that like, it's taking up, like it's eating more people. And that's good because it's so crowded every day now. There's like not even a slow season anymore, it seems. It's only like really busy and like insane. So, anything to not make it as bad as like, touching shoulders with people everywhere you go, I'll take it. And it's a fun ride.
Don't we miss the 6 feet distance? I missed the 6 feet distance, man, from COVID. That was the park was the best when they had that. Give me the 6 feet, man. I loved it. But yeah, listen, thank you for coming and giving everybody a little bit of insight. I know there's so many different changes coming to Disney. And kudos to everything you do over there on WWNT. You do a great job over there. I love all the stuff you got going over there. So please keep up the good work, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for having me.
Great. We'll see you soon. We're gonna take a short commercial break. Just one commercial, Patty, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk a little Blue Beetle. All right, guys, we are back, and we're going to talk a little Blue Beetle. There's a lot to talk about with Blue Beetle. DC is starting to make a little bit of a comeback now that they got Mr. Gunn over there doing some of the running the DCU. And I think we spoke a little bit before the show how important this movie is going to be for Latin Americans. This is their first representation on the big screen. In a major superhero movie. And I know we spoke a little bit about that earlier. And I know, Caleb, you got a little insight to how it even went together a little bit. Let's start off with you. Like, what's your take on this whole Blue Beetle thing, which I think could be a huge hit? DC needs a huge hit. I think this could be what kind of puts DC back into the mix.
1,000%. I think it could be great. I love it for Jolo. For you guys that may or may not know, I produced Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai was the vehicle that put Jolo where he is now. And also the director, Angel Manuel Soto, that's like my brother right there. I gave him my movie Charm City Kings is what got him to Blue Beetle status. You know what I mean? And then I introduced him and Jolo at Sundance when we were premiering our movie. So you see, there's 6 degrees of separation between everybody. So there could be an argument to be made that without this young brother right here, none of that would have happened. Yeah.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But they're super talented, super great, and I'm so happy for them both. I think it's going to be a smash. I think it's good for the Latin community to see themselves as regular. Because see, what happens in our business is people think, oh, no, like we got to cater to the Negroes. We got to cater to the Latinos, right? It's like, no, we just want to be seen as normal, where the color doesn't matter. The ethnicity doesn't matter. I want to have a good life just like you. It's not like, oh, I'm black, I have to have. It's like, no, it's all the same. So this, I'm hopefully we can get to where your ethnicity doesn't matter. It's just, you just happen to be a Latino who's a superhero. Nobody's like, what's the white man's experience as Superman? You know what I mean? Like, it's just normal. So I think, it should definitely be that, but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a smash hit. And I just want to, hopefully the people show up for it. You know what I mean? And support it. Jolo is a phenomenal actor. Angel is a fantastic director. So I think it's going to be great. And from the trailer I saw, it looks fantastic. It looks funny. It looks like it can be a hit. So I am definitely pulling for them both.
Katrina, what's your take on the importance of what this film could do for the community, the Latin community, or just in general? Like, we always look at Marvel's become like the comic epicenter, right? Like I think when I was growing up, before it was these movies, it was DC. You had Superman, you had Batman. But then since Disney got involved with Marvel, now it's like Marvel's become the big thing and DC fell kind of behind a little bit. What's your take on as far as now DC putting together a nice little grouping and where they might be able to kind of retake the comic crown, so to speak?
Well, I'm excited. First of all, it's about time that we have some hot Latinos taking over, having their star, because I was looking up Latino action stars and there really aren't any.
No.
I'm personally excited to see Miguel from Cobra Kai in action, taking the stage. Like, stoked. That's one of my favorite shows, so I can't wait to see him do his thing. I think he looks real cute in his suit. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I feel like it was a little slow the past year with some action films. It's about time DC give us something good.
I love the addition of Gunn over there coming from Marvel to be able to really kind of put something together, because I feel like that's the one difference between Marvel and DC to me was the character development. That's the one thing I think that Marvel did so well at. It wasn't like, because they made comic book characters that were really like you didn't really even think about. Like, I didn't even know who Guardians of the Galaxy was until they actually gave us a film, and then and now I'm into them. But it's all because of their character development. I think that was the one thing that DC lacked. I think they fell back on thinking, oh, well, everybody already loves Superman. Everybody already loves Batman and the Flash. Everybody already knows all those people. So we don't really have to worry about – Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't have to worry about the character development, and that's where they fell back a little bit. And I think Gunn's going to do – starting now, going to start bringing that where they're going to do some character development, give them not just being superheroes, but give them some heart. But Nigel, what's your take?
Oh, baby, this is why I am here at the pop-off. We're talking comics now. We're jumping in. Listen. Blue Beetle is definitely going to make a splash, all right? I'm going to digress real quick, and I'm going to jump into why this thing is going to make a splash. Now, let's not forget that James Gunn, the regime of James Gunn, doesn't start until after this movie, okay? So, like, he came in and did some consulting and whatnot, I believe, but it really pops off the next phase of DC with Blue Beetle. So James Gunn has his influence on it, and that's going to catapult it. Gene, you are 100% correct. What DC lacked and what they decided to, for lack of a better word, kind of pass on was that character development, because their characters are actually more known They're iconic characters. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are more known in the zeitgeist for just general populations, right? People know the logos, they have an idea of the characters. So I digress. What Marvel and those cats did was, we're going to tell you origin stories, and we're going to tell you important origin stories. We're going to change some of them ever slightly, but we're going to introduce you to these characters. Then we're going to put them on a team. Then you're going to get the Avengers. So you have a couple hits, you have a couple misses. But at the end, what we were all on board for was that 10 years that culminated in some of these greatest characters that we've ever seen on the cinematic screen that are casted perfectly. We see them fight this big bad that has been Easter egg throughout the whole. So we see Thanos and we're like, oh my, this is the best thing we've ever seen. We've never had anything that was so big and so huge in the superhero genre. Now, with James Gunn jumping on board with DC, this is fantastic because your boy is going to do a great job in Blue Beetle. Because the trailer, I watched that trailer again today. I watched a couple breakdowns on it. It looks so fun. It looks like we have a little bit of horror in there, a lot of comedy in there, but we got some action and we got some history, which is exactly what Ryan Coogler and Wakanda Forever brought us with the introduction of Namor, who was the first mutant in the Marvel universe, not cinematic, in the Marvel comic book universe, with his Mayan culture, and we dip into the background. So now we're dipping into the Latin background of this character and what that can do for a whole culture. Marvel did it with Ms. Marvel, right? We got to see some of that East Indian heritage, some of that background, which was delightful. So now again, boom, we're getting this, and this is going to be something I'm excited for. I'm constantly looking. A friend of mine, she already said that she bought her tickets to. Did she get it yet? I think she got her tickets for the opening, and I'm stoked. Like, I can't wait till we get it up here in Canada where I can just buy it opening day. Boom, I'm there. Caleb, you'll hear from me. There's no doubt in the world.
You know what? For someone that's a father to two half Hispanic children, my wife's Colombian, my kids are half Colombian. This is one of those things that, for me, just knowing that it's someone that they can relate to, or at least can look on screen and see someone like themselves. And you know, and like, kind of, I don't know if anybody's seen the it was all over YouTube and all over Instagram when the African-American girls saw for the first time Ariel, the Little Mermaid commercials. And it was like, almost like, wow, like Ariel looks like me. That moment, like I'm going to sound real sappy, but it almost brings you to tears because how important of a moment that is for these little girls. I feel like now my kids are older, so they're not like 5 or 6 where they're into, like, you know, but they're like, oh, well, a comic book character looks like me. But I think, but having that same like responsibility of being able to bring someone that looks like my children to me is an important thing to me, because, you know, they never had that. You know what I'm saying? So I think what DC is doing with this whole transformation that DC is doing, making that one of the first movies they're going to go with. Let's face it, Blue Beetle is not a household named comic book character. I didn't really know about him too much until I heard about the movie being made a few months back. So it's a risk that they're taking putting this out for more reasons than one. Because there's going to be people, let's face it, we're in a society where there's going to be people that are going to ignore this movie for the wrong reasons, right? They did it to Wakanda Forever, they did it to Black Panther in the beginning for the wrong reasons. And that turned out to be the best movies that Marvel's ever put out, especially the first one. That might be maybe my favorite out of them all.
Of course.
So you're unfortunately going to have those people that are going to miss out on it for the wrong reasons. And that's their problem. It's unfortunate. But I think what they did by taking that risk and putting out this film where it's not a household character and saying this is going to be one of our first films in this new transformation that we're doing, I think I give DC a ton of credit for that. And
well, I agree. And I think that's cool. One of the things I'll say about the Black Panther thing is if they missed out, it didn't show in the box office. That thing made over $1 billion. So that somebody came. But what I will say is this. They were smart by taking a character that's not known and going ahead and making it Latin and making him Latin and going that route. What I do not like is the appropriation. Oh, we got to cater to blacks. Make Ariel black. What?
I get it. I'll be honest.
I loathe that because the thing that they're trying to do, let's be more inclusive. You make people even more angry. White people are watching those trailers like, why is she black? Like, God, okay, like, We know black people exist. Like, come on, man. Like, taking classic characters. Do you know how mad black people would be if they made Spawn white?
Don't start. Hey,
Oh,
no.
Do you
yeah,
know how
that's
mad black
but that's
people-
blasphemy right there.
If
Yeah,
they
don't.
made if Bradley Cooper played
Oh, no.
Michael Jordan in a movie, you see what I'm saying? Like,
No.
we gotta
Stop.
stop this. It's
No.
ridiculous. Like, that's one of the things. It really makes me. It's like, don't do it. We're gonna make James Bond black. I'm like, you're gonna cause a riot. Don't do that.
I gotta be honest,
because
Idris
the
Elba
people
would make a
making
good
that
James
decision
Bond.
don't have to deal with the backlash. We do. You
Fair
know
enough.
what I'm saying?
And I'll tell you
It's
what,
like, it's ridiculous. I wish it would stop. Like,
I agree
leave
to an
the
extent.
characters alone. If you want to cater to black people, create more black projects.
Perfect.
Use more
There you go.
characters that are black. Don't make classic. Don't listen. If they make Keke Palmer Wonder Woman, I'm gonna lose my mind. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
But-
we're just
but-
doing too much now.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
Like, let's keep it social. Let them be who they are.
But give
and
you
let's
something
create
new. Don't-
characters or add to it. But changing people, like, I just saw the Ninja Turtles trailer. They made April black.
Yeah, she's originally black, bro. She's originally black. The original
Originally.
April O'Neil. Yes,
in the cartoon,
The
in the comic
problem
books,
is
right?
this.
in the comic book.
Yeah.
The problem is this: most people remember the
Redhead.
80s
Yes, from
version.
1990s. Yes, the white
So
one. Yes,
I'm
we
in
know.
the theater, and there's
Yep.
six young teenage white kids behind me, and the trailer comes on,
Yeah.
and one of them says, "Bro, a black again?" I'm serious. I'm telling you, it's creating that backlash. I'm telling you, it's
I
like
know,
a rubber
and
band.
this is the problem, right? This is the problem. Is what I understand what you're saying, and the problem is now when you do have that original character who is originally black, and then for
Right.
whatever reason they turn her white, so then that one lasts longer. Then when the cartoons and people that do their homework, and when Nickelodeon and all those other companies are like, oh man, you know what? What are we doing? Let the OG is black, is a black woman. Let's go back to that. And they
Right.
do that because of this appropriation that is happening throughout the entertainment industry. Now you have those kids like that were sitting behind you and being like, oh, again, but they don't know the history. And the history is that
Now
that
that's-
character was black. So now that's where the things get muddy, man. That's where
No,
they get
that's
muddy.
true though. But like, Ariel was never black.
But Ariel's
No.
also a mermaid, so we don't know what color she is.
And I was gonna say is that's my take on it.
It doesn't
too.
matter for her.
No, like, but it
can't
does
see.
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But we're doing this across the board. They're like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make James Bond black. Listen, James Bond
That's
was
a
never
little
black
different,
either.
though. But that's a little different, and I kind of take Nigel's point. She's a mythical creature, Ariel. So that's why I don't have a problem with it necessarily. But I get what you're saying. I think, and I kind of believe, because if I remember correctly, was it Beauty and the Beast, right, where they made LeFou all of a sudden he had like it seemed like he may have been gay at one point, and like right, not in the cartoon, but in the animated version, but in the movie, right? And I remember saying, well, just make a gay character. Same thing as you said, make a gay character. Like, why recycle a character? Like that would bother me if I was gay. That would personally bother me. So I understand where you're coming from with Ariel. What I think clinched it for me for feeling how special it could be is seeing that video where all the young women, young girls look at it and we're crying. We're like, when you hear a little girl say, "Mommy, she looks like me," like I was one to tear, man. Like, so, I get the recycling. I wouldn't want to be recycled either. I get that.
I understand that, but what I mean is create a character for her
100%.
to have that. Redo Princess and the Frog in live action. There you go. You see what I mean? Like, so she could see a princess. She could see one that's just like her, who was always her. You know what I mean? Like, like do that. There's a lot of characters that they could use, but I'm taking iconic characters, because if it was reversed, we'd have a heart attack. Is what I'm saying.
Have you ever seen?
That's a dangerous game to play.
And
That's all I'm saying. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
There's a take on You People. Have you seen the movie You People on Netflix?
Yeah.
The take that she has on, she's like, I was when it was when they took the flags out of NASCAR. She's like, then they're out looking for me. She's like, they can have their flags. I don't need them coming.
It's the truth.
But
like,
so I
that
get
stuff is real. It's like, come on, man. Like, let's just make new characters or pull, characters that don't nobody know and set them up in that way. But once a character is established, it's really hard to change it. It really is.
You just said something that's very key to what's happening in comic books and in characters like this that we've talked about in pop culture, and set them up. That is like the Caleeb. That is such a huge idea, and what I'm talking about specifically is having these characters, creating these new characters, but their stories cannot just be ramshot. You can't just put something out there for the sake of putting it out there because the LGBTQ QIA plus community needs representation. So we're just going to make one real quick and we'll use catchphrases that they use in their dialogue. That's what's happening in comic books, right? And it's like, no. Let's all focus group this, or like, let's talk to the community. Let's find out how many different characters we can create, new, fresh faces. It's going to take a while for these characters to last to last through time or to develop some more. So people got to give it a chance. But what's happened is a lot of these creators have just jumped the gun and they've made classic characters. They've either changed their color of their skin or they've changed their sexual orientation. And it's like, no, that character from the 80s, that character was never like that. All of a sudden you just flip the script like this. And now they're on the cover of a this or that represents this community when that's not how they were seen. I'm all for representation, but again, let's set up these characters. Let's just make sure that when they speak from a place that's genuine and heartfelt and respectful, so then we can all enjoy them, period.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's just one of those things for me where I'm like, come on, man, because we don't need it. It's like Black people don't care about it like that, like where it has to be that, oh, now I'm going to go see James Bond because Idris is playing him. He's like, no, I was going to see it anyway. I like the character. You know, I tell you what,
can we get a James Bond type character with Idris Elba? Because he would be a fantastic spy, man.
He would be fantastic. But what I mean is, it's like, just
I get what you're saying.
Villain. Or make a new character at an MI6.
That's what I'm saying. It's a new character.
I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. But
hey, listen, I changed Iron Man to a chubby guy with a beard. I mean, so I done it.
No.
Chubby white guy with a beard.
No. I would like to nominate Caleeb to create some new shows for us, some new heroes. I think you could do it.
Yeah, I definitely can. You know what I mean? But the problem, the thing that's so crazy is now with the way our culture is set, anything that audiences aren't familiar with, it's like, ooh, they don't know if they want to go support it. And that's where it comes down to. So that's why part of it is like it's why Cobra Kai worked. It's everybody already knew it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nostalgia.
The flip was we're gonna tell it from the villain side. That's the only change.
And another thing you did, what you did too, and it's kind of like what you've already said. You've created characters that represent. Now you have female characters represented that are just as tough as the boys. You have a Latin American Jolo as the main lead on it, right? So I mean, you've even done kind of like what you said. You created the new characters.
We created new characters. It wouldn't have worked if we made Johnny Lawrence, if we had Anthony Mackie play Johnny Lawrence.
Anthony Mackie's fantastic though.
I'm not saying he's not, but the audience would have said, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's get Anthony Mackie in a competitive, in a competing dojo. Let's bring. I like the Anthony Mackie idea.
Anywhere. He could be anywhere. It's like if we remake The Last Dragon.
Oh, shout out to
my Bradley Cooper play Shogun.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I love Brad.
He's not built
man.
Can you dig it?
You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be Busta Rhymes. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. But listen, you know what? I think what else wins, and I mean, Caleeb, you're wearing a t-shirt from the Thundercats, which is indicative of my point, which is nostalgia wins. Right now. In 20, let's see, I want to say from like 2018, 2019, nostalgia has won. Nostalgia has come back in spades, and people whether you have expendable cash or not, I don't really, but I'll spend money and I will eat up and buy these things. I just showed you two, only two of my Thundercats figures that are brand new. This is from a company called Super 7 that just came out in the last couple of years. What I'm trying to say is that when you have something like Cobra Kai, which is fantastic, by the way, but it gets my generation because we grew up with the Karate Kid, and then all of a sudden you bringing these people back, and then slowly season after season, the next thing you know, you're not really watching Cobra Kai as we knew it anymore. It's still got the same flavor, but we're being exposed to new characters that are on their own journey in the guise of Cobra Kai, which introduced of the Karate Kid, which introduces you to this whole thing. And I loved that journey, man, because then it's like by the end you're like, oh wait, this is cool. Now we got a whole new. We got Eagle Claw or the Eagle Fang.
Yep. Dragon Fang, Eagle Claw, all that.
You know what I mean? And it's great. Yeah. And I love that about it. It's fantastic.
And one thing I'll say real quick, because I'm sure somebody watching is like, wait a minute. You guys made a remake of Karate Kid, and you made your nephew, who's black, play the lead character. No, Jaden played a character named Dre.
I was just saying it was different.
That was completely different. It's the same story, absolutely. A kid doesn't have a father, gets bullied, gets taught kung fu in our version to protect him from a guy that you're not the maintenance man. Absolutely the same journey. A completely different character. Dre changes everything. His name is not Daniel's son, it was Yao Dre. Just so you guys, just in case, because I know there's somebody out there who's saying that right now. That's the difference. You can change the character and keep the story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. At that point,
you would have called him Daniel's son.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. There we go.
Especially if it would have been Jaden with an Italian mom from Jersey. That definitely would have
now he could. Now that's the thing with us. When you a little light skinned, you could have an Italian mom.
That's a good point.
With a daddy that looked like Nigel.
Yeah.
It was like what was it when what was it Money Talks when he said he was Diane Carroll and somebody else's son. Who was it?
Vic Damone.
Victor Damone
Jr.
Yeah, Victor Damone Jr. So you know what, guys, listen. We're gonna get into. We have one more thing to talk about, and I'm excited about this because I am a Potter fan. They're looking to bring Harry Potter to HBO Max. They're in talks now. Although I did hear the rumor that they were going to replace him with not being an English kid. It's going to be a Vietnamese kid now. Harry Potter. He's going to be Vietnamese now. No, I'm only joking. But
I was about to be done. I was just like, okay, turn my camera off. I'm done.
I felt like I had to go there with our previous conversation. No, but you know what? So I don't know what story they're going to tell. I assume it's not going to be their generation. I assume it's going to be the next generation.
No, it should be a completely different character in the world of Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Where Harry Potter exists. All those other characters we've grown to love are there and exist, but this version is then you can make that kid Vietnamese. You can make him green. You can make him an alien for all I care. Just give him his own or her own thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
100% agree.
Now, in the world of what we love.
Now, do you have Harry Potter in this? Do we have him as like an adult now? Is he or the characters that we already love?
You absolutely need to.
I think so too.
You establish your new characters, right? And then you bring Harry Potter has to make a cameo appearance at some point. And you can hold him for a while because Daniel Radcliffe is probably doing other stuff. You can hold it for a while because the audience is going to want. But you bring in all those characters from those 8 movies. You bring them, you sprinkle them in, and the audience is going to eat it up. Well, and then you bring in Daniel Radcliffe. You know what I mean?
Kind of like you guys did that over on Cobra Kai. You had the old guys, and you didn't just bring them all in at once. Like you had
you get a new season.
You sprinkle them in. You sprinkle them in.
And by the way, Chosen might be one of my favorite guys that you brought in. His turnaround, he's
absolutely.
You know what I love about that character too is it's the same guy. But he's just found like his inner peace now. Like it's the same dude. It's the same vicious I'll kill you dude, but he's got like an inner peace to him. So you guys did a great job of still giving him that little keeping his edge. But let's get back to Harry Potter real quick. But I had to go there. Now here's the holdup is it seems like because it's been rumored for a while. I know they've been talking about it for a while. I think the holdup really is if J.K. Rowling is going to let it go through because I think she just has a complete control of anything that happens in that universe. And I mean, let's face it. But she created, I think it was like a bedtime story she used to tell her kids. That's how it started, right? So to go from that to being what it is now, it's theme parks, it's plays, it's books, it's movies, it's everything, it's toys, everything. One of the biggest franchises we've ever had. how important is it, you think, for this next generation? Because let's face it, the kids today, they don't know the movies. The movies, what was the last movie that came out? Like 2008? So you get a kid today, it's like, that's that perfect age for Harry Potter. It might have been older than 2008. When did they start making them?
I don't know. I forgot, but I know they got like 7 or 8 of them.
They have 8 of them, I believe, but they're not like recently made. They're still like a good 10 years ago. Those movies, so
probably.
You have a whole next generation of kids that don't know, that don't have that same Harry Potter experience that the generation before had. That I think this could bring that right back. And you'll get twofold. You get the young kids that are now just being introduced to Harry Potter, and you're gonna have all those kids that are now adults that want to relive the same way with how it works with all the reboots. You're going to have all these people that want to see that original version and now see like, okay, this is the world. This is where the world has gone from where it was 10, 20 years ago to where it is now in almost 2025 at this point. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're going to be able to amass a huge following for it. And I feel like at this point, what's stopping it? Because it's going to make money hand over fist. It's going to be huge. So yeah, the first Harry Potter came out in 2001. So then figure like 8 years later, because I think they were putting them out like every year. So
yeah, basically.
And what was it? David Zaslav from Warner Brothers says it's actually it's one of his major priorities is to expand this universe and bring it back. So, which again, the money talks. The money's there. Katrina, were you a Harry Potter fan at all? When you went to the movies? So you would be psyched if this became a show.
Oh, I'd be totally psyched. I mean, I think it's unfair to the younger generation because they get to go to Universal and see Harry Potter land, but they don't really have any new kind of connection to it. I think J.K. Rowling is going to say yes because she's never said no to money.
No.
She's
just holding. I think she's just holding out.
Gonna happen for sure. She's holding out. She's waiting for that $200 million contract, but she's gonna get it. And HBO needs a new Game of Thrones, but kid friendly. Bring it on. Let's do it.
That's exactly what it is. It's like it's just a kid.
Point.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And again, it's multi-generational that it'll bring audience that it'll bring in. Same thing like I think we were talking about either yesterday or the day before. We were talking about when there's these kid movies that come out, it's always going to double the amount of revenue because you're going to have the parents that have to take the kids. Same thing with this, even though it's on TV, you can have the parents that want to relive it with their kids and watch. Oh, I remember when I was a kid. This is I saw when this guy was the bad guy here, and this guy because it was all every season was or every movie was a different bad guy. With Voldemort being the main one. But yeah, I would love to see them get this done. Hopefully sooner than later. Nige, what's like how big could this be? Could this go down as being one of the biggest HBO shows if they were able to make this happen?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think Katrina's completely correct in terms of finding a younger version of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones had finished how many years ago, and then all of a sudden they hit us with House of Dragon, and people are like, "Yeah, man, we're on board," and just like it brings more numbers, and that's supposed to be like a prequel, and it's very specific to the House of Dragon. Like, of course, the Harry Potter thing. Listen, man, fantasy, wizards, dragons, griffins. They can't lose. They can't lose. There's something about the fantasy world that we as a pop culture or just fanboys, fangirls, fan people are drawn to, and we will cosplay in a minute. That in anime, in a minute, you know what I mean? So I think you come out with Harry Potter and Caleeb, to your point, you come out with, we got to remember this world is it's so eclectic and it's so complicated, but it's so vast, it's so big that we can start with new characters, and then you just, like Katrina said, just sprinkle in some of the classics, sprinkle in the people that you know to keep it grounded so you know where you're coming from, you know that you're still in that world, and you just slowly introduce some new things to it, man. Of course, I want to see Harry. I want to see a picture of Hagrid. I want to see those things. I want to see those people. But at the same time, I also want to see a new story. Give me something fresh. Introduce me to a new wand or a new a new potion or a new
villain.
A new villain, whatever that thing is. And I mean, it's easy for the four of us to talk about and to say. Obviously, it's a lot harder to put together. But if you put a group of fun writers in there, man, and you just you know what I mean?
That love it. That aren't doing it for a passionate. And love it. Then you get something.
Yeah, and the best part about these worlds is that the world can be anything. So the four of us, we can all be wizards, man. We all look distinctly different. Katrina looks the best out of all of us, and we
Absolutely.
look distinctly different.
I got the outfit.
Yeah, right? And this is a show you can watch. We can all be in that world.
Because I love what your point about magic, right? So there was a movie that I loved when I was younger. It's called Legend with Tom Cruise.
Dude.
What was it?
Legend. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Tell him.
Like,
Tell him.
It was great. Like they should do that one. And I'm really surprised that Nintendo has not done this yet. The Legend of Zelda live action. Do you know the world for? Oh my gosh,
that would be huge.
People look like that's what you do. I'm about to go.
That could be a series, not just a movie. That could be a series.
Yeah.
That could be a series, not just a movie. That could be a
a
series.
You could start it with a series. You could start it, but like the movies and the shows should work together like Star Wars. Like that's how you do it. Legend of Zelda is that big of a world. It's amazing, and I cannot believe it is not being made. Like
that's a good point. But I remember when, as a kid, beating Zelda. That was like when you're a kid, you beat Zelda for the first time as a kid. It was everything.
Remember the cartridge was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my cousin had it, and like I'd never seen the Zelda before, and so he's like, "Yo, you seen this?" I was like, "Oh my!" And it was literally like, "Whoa!" Yeah. And this little side scroller, and you walk the 8-bit. Oh man, yeah.
Like it was when Raekwon had the purple tape. It was that different. It blew people's minds. The gold cartridge, and then like I said, the Raekwon purple tape. Purple tape.
There it is.
Great reference.
But you know, guys. You know what? That's gonna do it for today, man. We were out of time. It's about 2:00. So I know we had an issue with the chat. I know we were going to turn it off because we were going to make the email thing. So I'm going to pop up the email so people could email us. There we go. Email us at poptcnetwork@gmail.com. And we are going to be setting up a phone line relatively soon. So that way, if you want to call in, you can call in. I think we're going to wait a couple weeks for that. But guys, you know what? For Katrina, Nigel, and Caleb, man, Caleb, I always said, I joked around yesterday when you popped in. I said, I was like, I feel like you're the guy here. I feel like it's almost like the old Def Comedy Jam where I gotta bring you out the stage like Russell Simmons, and you can say good night, everybody. So
no, you ain't got to do that. But today, thank you everybody out there who watched. Look, it was a great time. We had a great time. Katrina, Nigel, my boy Gene. Hey, we try to do what we can do when we can do it.
That's what we do. So for Nigel, Caleb, and Katrina, I'm Gene FitzMagic. Guys, thank you so much for coming in today. Have a great day, a better tonight, and we will see you next time.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.